Good evening, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to give you a few minutes to get in, and then we will start our webinar. About one more minute for others to join us, and then we'll get started. All right, everyone. Tonight we're here because Fort Bend has partnered with SchooLinks, which is a career and readiness platform for the 23-24 school year. So we have invited Mr. McPherson from SchooLinks. A little background on what we're doing is SchooLinks is a college and career exploration software that we will be using for our secondary school campuses. It is going to be replacing Naviance. So for our high school students, you'll be able to access ComApp and apply Texas, FAFSA type stuff, college visits, but I'm not going to steal Mr. McPherson's thunder. So I will go ahead and turn it over to him, and I hope you learn so much tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Page. Good evening, everyone. Like Dr. Page just said, my name is Cameron McPherson. I work for SchooLinks, which is a company out of Austin, Texas. So we're a local Texas company that's working in the college and career readiness world. And so very excited to be here with you all tonight to give you an introduction of SchooLinks and what tools and things you'll have available to you as you start your college and career research with SchooLinks. And so with that being said, I know that we've got a couple things going on. We will be, I'm not sure if the Q&A is still working or not, so that could be something that's on. I know that we were thinking about turning it off, so I'm not sure if it's there or not. So if you do have questions, just know that I will show you some ways to get to our website, some ways to get into SchooLinks so that you can ask questions on SchooLinks through articles. And we do have a chat feature that's open during the daytime. And so just so you know, we will get those responses and answers to you as we go. And so working with Fort Bend's SEL and Comprehensive Health Division is what we're going to be working with first. And so just know that we are in phase one of getting everything SchooLinks and Fort Bend set up, that partnership getting ready to go. And so as we move forward, we'll continue to go through phase two and phase three of just bringing in student data and everything else that will allow your students to be more connected to the platform. So just a word of caution, we are optimized for Chrome. So if at any point you're in Firefox or utilizing another browser, just know that SchooLinks may work, but if there's any point where it stops working as you expect, please just first check to make sure that you're in Chrome, because that's what we're optimized for. And as we go today, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to be utilizing the slides that are on the screen right now, but then also jump into SchooLinks itself. And so if you want to open SchooLinks as well for the first time, I know that some students within the district got a sneak peek at it yesterday. And so this will be your chance to get into it as well. And so if you want to open it and follow along as I click, absolutely please do. And if you just want to just watch and see through the slides and see what we're doing, you can do that as well. So both options will work, but just want to make sure that you adjust your screens and everything now, because I know it can be tricky when you have multiple screens going and trying to see some things. Another cautionary thing, I've got 3 QR codes within the presentation. The first 2 go to an article that's on our website, so that'll open, that'll be fine. The last code, and there's a note for it as well, you have to be logged into SchooLinks for it to open up the internal article in the Help Center. So just keep that in mind as we go through, and I'll remind you again when we get there. So like Dr. Page said, Naviance, one of our competitors, that's the system that you guys had before. And so obviously looking at college and career research, looking for scholarships, you know, that's pretty typical for college and career research platforms within the industry right now. And just know that, you know, some of the more robust platforms out there, they also have service hour tracking. You know, they allow you to get transcripts or send transcripts out, looking at the NSC reports, and then also setting up rep visits for colleges and whatnot. As you can see here, this is the first QR code that I've gotten. This will take you to an article that we have on our SchoolLinks.com website. So if you want to read through that, you know, picking up your phone right now and opening that, and you could use your phone as another device to keep up, would also work. So SchooLinks is a K-12 college and career readiness one-stop shop. And so
we could get the share on, please.
yeah, sorry, y'all.
You could.
All right, everybody sees that? Good, perfect. So right here, that first QR code will take you to an article on the SchoolLinks.com website. And like I was saying, SchoolLinks is a K-12 platform where we do all of those things in the middle. We do the college and career research, the scholarship research, having those other services as well. But we also look at our K-5 area, really looking at our SEL lesson plans that we have as something that we can start to allow our K-5 students to start to see where they are in the world, see what they enjoy doing, and helping them kind of find a place as they move on through middle school and high school. And so that's one of the areas that we have access to. And then over here, we also look at graduation tracking and FAFSA tracking. So those are some things that, along with the CCMR accountability, you will see that is where in the state of Texas, we help our school districts and our schools keep up with those data pieces as we move forward. And industry partners. So for those parents that are on the call right now, if you have a business and you can work with CTE departments or have internships or experiences that your students either in your house or within your school district are able to participate in, we welcome you and invite you to actually go in to SchoolLinks and set yourself up as an industry partner so that we can connect with you and connect Fort Bend ISD to you. And then one of the other big things that we've been working on recently that's been very helpful is when a student graduates from that 12th grade, we then are allowing students to continue to work with us as alumni. And so that's super helpful with our school districts to be able to connect with their alumni, talk to them, and go from there. And so very, very important piece here, just knowing that we do have alumni in the system, as well as being able to get their transcripts and let us know how they're doing and where they're going, and then be surveyed by the school district as well. Again, here's my second QR code here. This is talking about specifically just SchoolLinks.com, our founder and CEO, Katie Feng, and just why she's created SchoolLinks and put us into the space that we're in, and helping us just continue to succeed, not just in Texas, but across the United States. All right, so I know I might have some staff members watching, obviously have parents with students watching as well. And so if you go into your Clever login, staff, you can get in, you can see your students specifically, you'll be able to see the data from your students as well, but you can also demo as a student, and I'm going to show you that here in a second inside of SchoolLinks, so that you can also see what the students are experiencing. Student accounts, The differences from the staff to the students is really having access to those activities and assessments, and just making sure that you can, as a staff member, you can see those same things that they're doing. Students can do that. And then students, as you go through, junior year, it's very important. That's kind of why one of the reasons we're here today is just talking to juniors and making sure they know that they have this functionality within SchooLinks, where you can start to favorite the colleges that you think you might want to apply to. And then as you roll into your senior year and August opens up and we start to get those college application windows open, you'll actually be able to do your college applications through SchooLinks as well. And so we'll talk about that too here in a second, just so you guys can be ready for that in a few short months. So student onboarding, that's kind of what we're going to look at first. This happens the very first time when you open up SchooLinks as a student. So for those students that have already logged into Clever, already found it, and open up SchooLinks, it's going to take you through an activity. This happens one time only with the onboarding. And we have you go through the Find Your Path activity, which is a personality test that we do. Students can come back and retake the personality test. So you can go through that activity more than once, but just this first time, it's kind of helping you get accustomed to the system and ready to go. So students, this will be that first screen that you'd go, and you're just going to hit Let's Go. And then as you go through this activity, you'll see there's going to be one statement here. Depending on which device you're using right now, you can swipe left and or right, and that'll give you, that's not me, or yes, that is me. If your device doesn't let you swipe, you might just have to click. And so this is based on Carl Jung's personality test. And it's really starting to figure out what is your type, what is your personality type, because this personality type is going to start to give us some data on the back end where we can start to connect you to, careers and or college majors that you might be interested in, which then also helps connect the dots on potentially CTE electives that you might want to take while you're in high school as well, or middle school. So I'm going to show you this screen right here. This is one of those areas where we get a lot of fun stuff going on, where in the middle of this activity, which I'm going to show you here in a second, you'll see it starts to look at your personality match. So in this example here, it's showing this person's with their decisions and their selections. They're a craftsman. So they've got some adjectives here, some short statements here off to the left. And then you'll start to see that we look at our top cluster matches. And so those are those employment areas, those major areas that you might be interested in. And then just a fun place right here, you'll see our famous craftsmen. And so we'll show you 4 people here, either from current pop culture or from history, that are craftsmen as well. And so you could start to see, how those people play out in the world and where they are today. And so one thing to remember as you onboard, lots of people get excited at this place and then close out of the system. If you do, it's going to make you onboard again, because we need to do 2 more things, which is choosing your career cluster and choosing a career. And so I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to do a demo myself. So if there's any staff members on and watching right now, when you land on the staff dashboard, you can demo as a student. Here and here. Onboard there. So just like I showed you all here, as much as you love your friends, you need a lot of alone time. So let's go with that's true today. So I'm going to click through this activity. So if you're following along at home, obviously you've had a few more minutes to go through this than I have had. And again, this is your first assessment that you've done here on SchooLinks. And so you'll see here, just like I showed earlier, you can see here that I've got that personality here, and it shows me that I'm a mentor in this one with the answers that I've gotten. And so you can see the adjectives, the short statements, cluster matches, and then my famous people that are mentors like me. And so I'm going to show you all in a second. I can see through the Q&A now. You can go in and retake this quiz or this assessment And then depending on how you change your answers, could be one of the things that you can go through and see all the different decisions that you make, and then how that can change your personality type. And so, like I was saying earlier, cautioning you, don't click out now. You actually want to continue and finish. So I'm going to hit next here. And then I've got the top cluster matches. So there's 4 matches that are going to go here that they're suggesting from this one assessment, some of the things that I might want to do. You can notice if you scroll down, you can also get to the other cluster matches as well. So today I'm going to go with health science. So I'm picking that. You'll see that if I scroll, this gives me a lot of different choices. And so the good thing about SchooLinks is it has a lot of information in it, very easy to get to. So for today's demonstration, I'm just going to pick one, but just know that when you come back through this, you can do this in more depth and take more time, obviously. And so I'm going to go with, let's go with dental hygiene. And then let's go with dental assisting. And so I land on this page here. Again, we've got my personality match responses. And then I've got a career goal and a major training goal set up and ready to go for me. And so these goals are going to help the system tell me some things on the college search, the career search. It's going to give me some of those types of prompts, but just knowing that those are there. And at any point, if you want to go back and change them, you totally can. And so I'm going to go to my dashboard. So that completes the onboarding activity. So once you get to this student dashboard page, we're in a good spot. We've done that onboarding activity and we're in a good place. Go back to my slides. So again, those results are suggestions. The more times you do surveys and assessments within SchooLinks, the more we'll know about you. So we can continue to work with that, and then you can always retake it. So on the student dashboard, I'm going to keep it on the slides. For those of you that are following along, this is what the system will look like. For those of you that are in the system, you'll be able to choose and select some of the navigation. And so you'll notice that we have the navigation bar to the left where we have those certain areas available to you. And then in the middle, you'll see right next to the green navigation bar, we have a news feed. And so as we continue to go through those phases of implementation, like I was talking about at the beginning, you will be able to see more and more things that are specific to your school or your area, whether that's jobs that you might be interested in, internships that you might be interested in, depending on the things that you've liked and shown that you have interest in. Or it could even be events that are happening on your campus, like if there's college reps or college visits going on, some of those things will flow into this feed here. And then to-dos is over here, just a little further over to the right, almost to the middle. And this will be those things that are assigned to you from the school district to your school. And so these will be the activities that you'll do throughout the school year. And so they will show up here. You'll see we have something due in the next 4 weeks. You'll see we can show you when you have overdue items. And then if you click down here at the bottom, you can see the remaining to-do items. The awesome part about SchooLinks that I think is very helpful for students just to know is that even though we have the to-do list here to help simplify getting to things, we leave the system open and you have access to everything for the most part. About 85% of the platform is open to you at any given time. We're not going to get in the way of you researching career in colleges. We want you to have access to that. So just know that those things are all open for you across the board. And so, yeah, that's what the student dashboard is. That's the general idea. You'll notice up here, I've got a fake name, fake picture. If you click here, this is going to take you to your student profile. And so that would give you some specific information, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. So here, the student profile, you'll click on your picture or your name because there's no picture in there yet. That'll be something that we update next school year. You'll notice here that as you scroll down on that page, if you're inside of SchooLinks, you'll see that it looks very similar to requesting the information that you would need for a resume. And so as we continue to go through and build that profile, whether it's doing activities or coming straight here to your profile and personalizing that piece, you will be able to go to this button here to the far right in the middle, and it'll actually download a resume for you. It's clean. It's got all that information that you've added in there. And it's something that will build over time. And so as we go through these activities, your students, you will always have access to this resume. So you're not going to have to go format. You're not going to have to rewrite things. It's going to have all of that information in here as well. Then this is what the activities bar looks like. And I'm going to jump back into SchooLinks just to kind of show you some of those things that I just did. Go here. So you'll see that I have this demo student whose name is Lee. If I go into Lee's profile, you'll see a lot of the stuff is still blank because we've only done these two things here. You can see here, if I want to change my goals, I can click change and it's going to automatically let me do that there. And then as I go down, you'll see here, we've got our strengths and achievements. So things that you would want other people to know about, that you're proud about, that are things that you've accomplished. You'll see here, we have the ability to answer some questions. And, this is not something that's going to go into a resume, obviously, because it won't go on a piece of paper, but will definitely help you start to think about, in interview questions and things that you might need to practice on, or even class activities that your teachers might assign you in the future. You do have this access right here. Here's the resume piece that everybody probably thinks about. So jobs, internship, volunteer experience, all of those things that you've done already. If you can go in and add those things in here, super helpful. You'll see interests and hobbies, and then certifications and licenses. Those certifications and licenses can be as important as those licenses that you might earn and or take the test for in your CTE courses. But then also, for example, if you're taking your CPR test because you want to be a lifeguard this summer. So being able to add that here and then being able to create that resume for you. And then coming down here to the bragging rights, that'll be something that, you might have been thinking about if you're a junior and thinking about, when you do your rec letter recommendations from your teachers and from other people that just having that information ready to go for them. So that is that part there, the personality profile. So then also over here, activities. So we talked about you can do the activities more than once, right? And so if I click activities here and I go to assessments, you're going to see that find your path activity that you just completed. It's got my timestamp right here and it has my past results. It'll allow me to also start the assessment again if I want. And so I can click that assessment and it's going to take me straight back to that find your path activity that we've done earlier. So you can redo it, change up a couple of the ways that you answer to see if you can find a different personality that more suits you as you go through those questions. And so that is that right there. And I found that here on the student page. If I'm on the dashboard, I go to activities and I go to assessments. All right, so the next activity that I'm going to take you through is this top skills assessment. I'm just going to show you what it kind of looks like. Its format's a little different, but not too much different. So again, instructions here. And these questions are, which scenario sounds more like you? So when you read the card, you're going to pick one or the other. And so it's going to be a little tricky for part of this because it's going to put you in a situation where you have to make a decision between two things that are kind of similar, but then helps us figure out your skills. I'm going to go through these. And you'll see that some of these questions and topics come up more than once. Because again, it's trying to get me to land on an answer. All right, now I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I might get ahead of some of you if you're going through this and reading through each one. But again, this is something fun, something you can do. You won't have to do this in class all the time, but something that you can do on your own. So you'll see that my top skills are here at the top: deductive reasoning, category flexibility, and memorization. You'll see that it again starts to help me think about those careers that I might want to go into, those majors that I might want to focus on when I'm in college. So looking at those, if I want to click in and find more, I can hit that learn more button. And then it's going to take me to the career center, and it's going to take me to that job. And so looking at the job, you'll see job growth rate here, the salary. So I picked a high salary and then a minimum education of a bachelor's degree. It will have a video here in the middle for the YouTube video that goes like through a day in a life, or what does it look like to have that job. Gives you some explanations here. And then down here, it has a career comparison. And so looking at other careers in that area, you can start to see which jobs have the highest job growth, which ones have the highest. So job growth across the bottom. And then we have salaries up across this axis here. And so you can just kind of see where those other jobs are. And so if you're like, I just want to make sure I want to be in an area that has a lot of jobs open, you can see if I hover here, it gives me that specific information right there. So then I'm going to go back to my top skills. So that just dropped me into the career research area. If I scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that it's got some areas that I'm strong at, some areas that are maybe needing a little bit more work for some of those skills. And then here towards the bottom, you'll see that I have some area for growth. And so if I want to look at my attentiveness, you'll see some things. It shows me those specific things that lead to attentiveness. And so then I can start to work on those or ask questions of those around me if I want to work on those skills. So I'm going to go to all assessments and go back. So again, you'll see, here's my timestamp for when I took it. And here are my results. All right. I think I talked through most of this. Yep. So we're good on that. So career exploration, I'm going to stay on the slides for this part here because it will be easier for you guys to see on my screen. And then if you're working at home on your screen. So off to the left in the navigation bar, you'll see careers. And so if I pick career and pick career center, it's going to take me into this area here. The first thing it's going to look at is this page where you can see most job openings or most common careers. And then you do have the ability to switch by, do I need a bachelor's degree? Do I need an associate's degree? Or do I not need a degree at all? And then you'll see here, it's going to be sorted for your region. So it's going to be for Texas. And it's going to have the most job openings right now because I've got this part selected here. And so registered nursing is what's coming up here. I'm not sure if that's what's true still in the system, but that'll be updated periodically. And so when you see this area here, you can search these specific jobs here. You can click into them if you would like. You'll also notice that we have a career search up here. And so you can type those jobs in. And then off to the top right-hand corner, you'll see where we have some other navigation options available to you. You know, looking regional, looking at clusters. So specifically, like what area do you think you might want to find yourself working? Some hot job areas, again, where there's good job growth and lots of jobs available. And as we go through the jobs, you'll be able to favorite those as well. And so I'll show you that in a second. Because you'll see here, just like I had in that other job area when I clicked into it, you have that information here with the video. And then you'll see over here, we have add to favorites and set as career goal. When you're going through the career research, let's say you find a job that yes, that's the one I want to do, and it's not your career goal already. If I do this and set it as a career goal here, it's going to pop up a window and say, hey, you're going to switch your career goal, and then it's going to let you do that and update that information. And so very helpful, depending on where you are in the system, all of those pieces are going to connect back to each other. So very helpful within these searches. All right, I'm going to take just a short breath and a sip. See some questions are going through. See if I can answer this one quickly. yeah, we'll have some information about what's going to come out of Naviance and what'll be in SchooLinks. That'll be part of the written Q&A that we do later on. All right, so for every junior that's here, this is really one of the areas that we wanted to focus on so that we can make sure this summer, as you're going through exploring colleges, trying to figure out what schools you want to apply to, you know how to use SchooLinks to do that. So just like with the careers area, you'll notice you have colleges off to the left. You're going to hit school search. And then it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. And so very similar to the format in the area for the careers, you can search for schools, you know, either utilizing locations, certain programs that you might be interested in. You'll see here in the filters, it first opens up. It's going to show Texas, public and private. If you want to not just look in Texas, you can X out of Texas. You can use the map just like you would in any other mapping area. If you zoom in, zoom out, search again, right here, utilizing the green, search this area, it's going to give you new schools inside of that. If you know a different state that you want to look at, let's say you are very interested in Colorado, click out Texas, type Colorado here, and then it's going to let you search for Colorado at that point. The rest of the filters here, you'll see that school type, when you open up, and I can show you this in a second, you'll get more choices across the board. And then VR is for our virtual reality tours. So we do have virtual reality tours for our campuses, so you can see what they look like. It's not every single one of them, but we do have a lot in the system. And so that is an option. And here you go, 500 plus campus tours, allows you to look at those schools before you've gone across the country to visit them, to see all of those different things. And so just knowing that you can go in here and start to see what those schools look like can be very helpful before you fly across the country. All right, so I'm going to jump into the system real quick. So one thing to remember is that when you're in the system as a student, you're going to see when you open up the college area, when it says college applications, this is for the senior year. And so College Application Manager is specifically for our seniors because juniors and everybody younger aren't going to be actually applying for college for the next year. So when you go in this college application area is going to be closed for you. All the research is going to be open and be able to be ready to go. But for juniors that are about to finish out the year and then will be a senior next year, this college application window will open up for you as we transition you from a junior to a senior this summer. And so we'll keep you updated on that. We'll let you know probably through the Q&A on the website. And so we'll have that information for you when that will happen. Because again, most college applications don't open until August. And so you won't go in there and start doing those applications yet. So when I hit school search, it said, here we go. You'll see, like I was saying, if I want to change the state. So if I wanted to choose Colorado, there I go. If I want to look at just public universities in Colorado, I can go by location. So let's say I want to be in the city. But let's say I don't want to be in a school that's too large. So I'm going to go with a medium-sized school. You can look at the admissions rate, either looking at GPA or test scores. You can look at schools with VR tours. You can look at the different degree types and notice that we're not just about four-year degrees and universities, but we also help find certificate programs and then smaller school or certification programs as well. And then sliding over here, if you want to look, you're super interested in sports, whether that's, Division I, Division II, Division III, or if it's intramural sports, you can search for that as well. And so let me jump back into Texas. Going back here. So when I look at these schools specifically, and close those out. You'll see up here in the corner that it has this heart. So if I go to the University of Texas, You'll see that you have the ability to favorite that school, just like you favorited careers within the system. I think this is super cool for all of us parents that are in the world having these conversations with our kids. You'll notice that when I favorite that school, it does open up this box. You don't have to fill anything out, but as you look at this, you can start to add in notes and add in why you might have selected that school and why you might have favorited it. So, you know, maybe when I look through this and I read it, I'm like, yes, UT at Austin has the program and major that I want to do. And then you'll see here, share your thoughts with your counselor and guardian. And so once we get your counselors in, we get your guardian account set up, which is not part of this phase, but will be part of one of the next phases as we continue to grow and build the system within Fort Bend ISD. Then parents, you'll be able to see these things. And so then the conversation no longer is what schools have you looked at? It's why did you pick those schools, and start to have that conversation about what they're really excited about when they're looking at the schools that they're going to apply to. So then I can close that. If I set it as a goal, I can do that as well, right there. And then when I go back to my profile in the school search, I've got some schools that I've favorited, which is something you could be doing right now. And if I click this favorites and list, it's going to give me a school here that I've already favorited. And as I move across the top, you'll see admission stats, final list. Got a video here just to explain what you're going to be doing. But this is going to allow you to start sorting out those schools that you're interested in. It's going to let you take those schools from your list, looking here, and then looking at the admissions rates right here down the middle in this color. You'll see that if your SAT score fits into these categories, you can say, oh yeah, I can get into school there. So then you're going to add that to your likely list. And so you'll see it has an explanation here underneath. So likely I have a high chance of being admitted. Target, I've got a fair chance. Reach school is always a good thing to look at these types of schools because maybe you're underneath the test scores, or your GPA is not as high as maybe some of the stats that it's looking at, but really having an idea of what those schools are. Looking at the Q&A. So I will pick up some of the easier questions to answer. And like I said, we'll have a Q&A set up down the road to answer some of these. And so I think the easy one right now is that, yes, parents will have a SchooLinks account. You can go in right now and start to work on that. You're just not going to have access to your students' information because we haven't done that setup piece yet. So again, we're in the initial stages of going through that first phase of implementing and integrating with the district. And so as we do that, we'll let you guys know. We'll send out communications through the district, and then landing on creating that account for you and then connecting it with your student. So I think for juniors, this is really the big piece that just trying to make sure as you guys go through the summer, just knowing that you can go in here, you can research schools, and then start to build this list of likely target and reach schools, because that's going to be very helpful when August comes and you're starting to think about which schools you're actually going to apply to. The slideshow will also be something that we're going to post, so you guys will have access to this as well. And so again, this should spark some interest or some memories after you go back through this, just going through the colleges, clicking on the heart icon to favorite that school, create that list, and then allowing you to pick, where those schools fit between those three different categories. You'll notice here that we have an unbalanced list. This will be one of those things that your district and your school looks at, because you'll see it does have a minimum of 3 recommendations here. When we land on that final list of and how many schools you need to put into each category, this will be something that will help students go through and make sure that they're in a balanced setting so that they know that they have multiple schools to look at. So we're not just looking at one school, which is fine, but just one of those things that we want to make sure students have the time and space to look at more than one school. So you'll remember that I said I have a QR code that you must be logged into the system. So this QR code is the one that I was talking about. It's going to take you to this article called Overview of College Application Manager. Sorry, my mouse. And so this article here, for those juniors, especially when you guys start to think about this, if I click in here and I open up that article, since I'm logged into the system, it opens up the article. If I'm not logged into the system, it's going to say the article doesn't exist. Obviously it does. And so as you go through this, you're going to see overview of the college application manager. And again, like I said, it's going to open up as you transition from an 11th grader to a 12th grader. Gives you a short explanation of what it is exactly. And most of our help articles look very similar to this. You'll notice we've got a picture here and then some explanation underneath. You know, one of the big things that you're going to need to do, set up that Common App connection. And so you'll see here, if I click here on the Common App overview, now I have instructions and detailed step-by-step about what I'm going to do to create my Common App account, and then also connect it back to my SchooLinks account. And so you'll see here, it's a one-time setup to connect all of those things. And so as you go through this, just knowing that you're going to need to create that Common App account so that it'll work for you. And so if I go back to this article, you'll see here, here's the College Application Manager flow. So the first time I'm going to go through the College Application Manager, it's going to tell me all the things that I need to do. Lets you set up those college application requirements. So it's going to show you all those things. Do I need recommendation letters? Do I need test scores? Or test scores optional? All those different options that are out there in the world, depending on what school you're looking at. You're going to set up your Common App account. And then as you go through, after you hit apply and you start to apply, it's going to track all of those things within the system. And so I know the screen's kind of small, so I'm going to click out of it. But you'll see here, I've got incomplete applications. I've got completed applications that I say that I've completed. And then I'm waiting for that information from schools. And then as I move from waiting from the school to know if I'm going to get in or not to it being accepted, then those can move over here. And then we can start to look at those schools that you're accepted to. So just looking at some of the questions again, some of the easy stuff. So answer the Common App. Yep. Apply Texas. Yes, we'll be connected to Apply Texas as well. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So if you go through those articles, you'll see how we connect to Common App. Yep. And so all internet based. So as long as you have that Wi-Fi internet access, yes, you'll be able to access SchooLinks this summer from a different country. Close that. Come back through here. Again, the Common App is there. For those of you that are in the system, just to get to the Help Center, I know I've got some questions that are going on out there. If you click this Need Help area right here, question mark in the top corner, it's going to take me to this page here where I've got all of my articles. And so when and if you're trying to search something, and I know there's a lot of information within the system and the platform, and a lot of questions that you guys might have, this might be the fastest way for you to get a pretty good answer. And so, you know, I'm just going to type in college applications. And so again, the way that this works for us with our articles, you'll see specifically student, or you'll see staff. So you'll see who the audience is for the article, but it's going to, like, for recommendations. So if I want to request any recommendations for those colleges that I'm going to be applying to, I open up this article, it's going to give me step-by-step instructions on how to do that process. And again, this will be for those colleges once that college application manager is open. All right. And so just one of the things, talking about the application setup, you'll see that left-hand side. And again, once we open this piece up for you all, you'll go through and do that whole setup right there. And you'll see here, we connect with Common App. And there's actually a FAFSA tracker as well in there. Cool thing is, like I was saying, creating that list, that final list, you'll see here, add an application from the list. And so when you add that application from the list, it's going to open up a window. You can add all of those schools that you have on your list of your final list and stuff. And then you'll be able to add applications from here, or you can add applications up here and search in and create new school applications as well. And then you would hit apply and go from there. So another area that we have as well that we'll help out with is just that financing piece. Obviously helping connect the scholarship search, but then also keeping an idea of, how much do I have in college savings, if I have any, how much do I plan on earning each year when I'm working, if I'm working or not, and then just looking at how much each school costs. So then you can start to compare those things as you go through that process of thinking about the schools that you want to apply to, and to see if you have that ability to have enough money to go to school there. So I'm going to jump over to, we've got lots of windows open. I'm going to close some of them. So looking at the other activities, talking about some of the financial literacy pieces as well, as we just saw that slide, you'll see here under activities, I've got Game of Life. So this is a cool activity that we have, starts to think about financial literacy. You'll see right now, it's got my job, my career goal here. So I put dental hygiene. So if you look over here, you can see what potentially my salary could be. If I wanted to switch that job to something else right here, let's say I want to go from dental hygiene, let's say I want to be a dentist or go into dentistry. So I put that there, my salary increases. Let's say I want to keep up with that. And I have to go get my doctorate and keep UT there. Just a quick, easy way to look at family income and what that piece is going to do to affect how much I'm going to pay for school. So I can click in that. Notice that it started to look at, here's how much money I'm going to probably need to borrow to go to school. Again, this is just an overview and it's suggestions and looking at stuff using real numbers, but just obviously going through and not necessarily knowing if I have any scholarships or any of those kinds of things as well. So here, like I said, if I have any savings or a savings account, so I'm gonna put $2,500 because my mom and dad are nice. I'm gonna say I'm gonna enter $1,500 a year, so I'm gonna have a small part-time job. And then here's the part that's kind of fun right here. Going through lifestyle. So you'll see over here right now, I've got it all covered. I'm going to make more money than I'm going to spend, but I haven't really put in any of the things that I want to do. And so as I go through here, some of it's realistic, some of it's just kind of fun and cute, but still getting that idea of what I'm going to do. So if I want to have a cat, I don't know if you all saw my cat in the back there for a while, but I'm going to have a cat and a dog. Let's say for housing, I want to have a pool. So I'm going to do that as well. Let's say I want to have access to a beach house for a couple of weeks of the year, lake house a couple of weeks of the year. I want to have a home with a view. Let's look at my vehicles. Let's say that I need to have all of the above that's here. And you'll see that slowly but surely those expenses continue to go up. And then it tells me if I'm in debt at that point, or if I'm going to need to make more money because my one job is not going to take care of that. So I can save that scenario. And then going back here, you'll see that it has those scenarios saved. So you can start to compare and contrast different areas that you might want to work with. And then, those things that you would earn over time, and then those expenses that you would have to pay. I also have access to the finances area here, and lets me go to that college financing piece that we talked about earlier. And so you'll see already I've got University of Texas on here because that's what I picked as my goal. And then you'll start to look at all of those specific pieces of information as you go through here and add in more work, and as you work through SchooLinks and add more answers in here, because I've got estimated costs as well. And then I've got my actual cost, and then you can go through this piece as you go through your applications and know this. All right, so that's the college financing piece there. So the rest of these slides, just real quick, just going through and just showing you some of the things that you can do within the system. I'm going to stay on the slide decks. So activities over here, you'd notice if you're in the system that you can add in goals. That first activity helps us with our career goal and what that major goal is going to look like. You can go in and do your future path, which is looking at if you're going to go to a 4-year university, a 2-year university, if you're going to go straight into the workforce. All of those things are options. And then you also can go through SMART goals and start to create SMART goals as well. We talked about this piece here, just those activities and assessments that you have access to. So all of those things, you know, parents in the future, once you have access and you get connected to your students, you'll be able to see those results. But then also having those things where you can talk to your friends about some of the things that you're excited about or some of the things that you learned about yourself, which some of the times can be very exciting and fun to talk. Here's some of the other assessments we have access to. We have a would you rather assessment. Again, it's looking at 2 different things and you're going to pick a decision from there. And then the responses look like this. Again, it's helping you figure out which areas that you might want to work in or some areas that you might want to study if and when you go to school. The next assessment that we have is that top skills assessment. Talked about that earlier, looking at those skills that you would use as an employee. Here's one that's fun. Again, it's a swipeable activity where you can go left or right. It's looking at mindsets, so looking at you know, those things that you're motivated about, so that you can have a really good idea of life after high school and things that you might be interested in. Learning style, this will be one of those activities that some of your teachers might do at the beginning of the year to start to gauge who you are as a student in their classroom, so they can start to see some of the things that they could focus on when creating lessons and working with you as a student. We also have these learning tasks in here. So for those students this summer, if you're wanting to learn anything that we haven't covered yet, or you want to dive a little deeper into the system and you're not really sure how to go, if you go to activities and go to learning, you're going to get a list of learning plans that can take you through as few as like 3 or 4 activities, all the way up to like 20 or 25 activities, and they can take anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. It's going to have you go through some activities, watch videos, go through parts of the platform within SchooLinks, answer some questions and surveys, and then it's going to help you start to, you know, really fill out that personal part up here in the so your profile up here. It'll give you some of the answers, and some of the tasks will take you through creating that, but then also just really starting to think about, what do I want to do in school? What do I want to do after school? Game of life we discussed already. And that's the last activity that I have for you today. I know I've given you guys a lot of information. I know there's lots of questions out there floating around. I really suggest utilizing the Help Center area that we have within SchooLinks. Going to the SchooLinks website will also be helpful as you try to navigate and find some more information. And I know as we continue to implement and integrate our systems together, you guys will get more information as we go. So I think someone's going to jump on and close us out. And it was really good seeing you all today. And I hope that you learned lots of information.